Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Honkai Star Rail video, and today I'm doing a follow-up to my last video on Forgotten Hall. We got a 12-star, perfect clear, finished the last stage, whatever. So now we're finishing up Pure Fiction, so we are doing the final stage of the newest Pure Fiction that I have not gotten all the stars on yet. You see I need the 60,000 points, and once again, works like a charm having two like really nice fully built teams that are more modern. So we are starting with the Firefly Break team here. Kind of interesting. I did do some attempts with Himiko, but I found that just running the straight up super break team was better than like trying to fit Himiko in there. Because her damage just like the follow-ups are great when they happen, but Firefly just kind of takes over. Like Firefly just, she does her thing, and because I've got her E2, right, she gets like the extra back-to-back attacks, which you're seeing there. She just kind of goes crazy. So the other thing that's a little bit risky here is this is like the heavy debuff stage, and I'm not using links here, but we still have Gallagher, and Gallagher on his skill use can still heal stuff, so I do take advantage of that a little bit, because the issue that can happen on this stage, if you take on too many debuffs, like your character's turn will start and they will just die. Like there's a lot of DOT that the enemies are putting on you, so you have to kind of keep that under control. As you see Gallagher there, I'm like dispelling some debuffs. Just to kind of keep it limited, because if you get too many on you, they just explode you. So that's kind of what we're doing here. But yeah, Firefly, I mean, she's doing her thing. Very much enjoying Firefly. Glad I got her, and glad I'm setting up this team. So I'm definitely going to cool off on summoning for a while. Other than as I continue to get free-to-play Jades, I really want to optimize this team now, because I really, really like it. So I am pulling for Ron May's Light Cone because I don't have it, and I feel like it's really going to help the output of the entire team just by having that. So that is my next goal, is to within the next 15 days or however long the banner's up, to try to sneak that through with free-to-play Jades. We'll see. We will see. I have no idea where I am on the weapon banner pity, so but I think it'll help. But yeah, Firefly, yeah, just back-to-back turns here. Everybody's got the fire weakness. If they come out with more specific, like, characters to, like, help this team that are fire, I mean, I would be tempted. Like, if they basically come out with characters that do things similar to, say, Trailblazer, but they're fire, then it's like, yeah, I might want to go for that character, but we'll see. For now, I'm really content. I feel like I have one of the optimal Acheron teams, and I think this is the optimal Firefly team for sure. I'm definitely going to build the most optimal March team I can for when she gets her hunt form, which I think should be coming pretty soon. I think in like maybe a week or so. But that hunt March should be coming soon. I'll definitely do some research on her. And definitely, I might just do like a showcase of her once I kind of get a feel for her and get her kind of situated. She's a very interesting mechanic in that she chooses like a master, and then like things happen depending on the type of character that you choose as your master. So it seems like a very fun character and flexible for different types of team builds. So I'm excited to try my girl March out, right? All right, so we are on wave 3, which is the Kafka wave. Up until this point, previous to this video, I have never successfully killed this Kafka. Like, it's a tough fight. Like, all the debuffs and everything coming through. But Firefly here, man, I mean, she gets her ultimate up as an interruption. She's going to be able to heal between attacks here. Not using skill uses is so huge for her. That's the E1 buff that she gets. And then, yeah, just additional big damage, taking out the little bats. I try to make sure like I'm always doing like multiple targets, but every attack I'm doing on those 3 target hits, I'm trying to make sure Kafka's always in there, because we got to get her broken, right? And then it's really nice that there are the small enemies here, because Firefly is essentially breaking and killing bats while still getting Kafka's break meter down. Because the one thing I will say, this team has a huge weakness, and it's a very obvious, glaring weakness, is that when you are not breaking, you are not doing a lot of damage. So the 2 times when this team can struggle is, one, if you have a boss that cancels breaking, like they don't have a break bar, or they gray them out or whatever, so you can't hit their weakness. If you don't have other enemies to break, like it's a slog to try to do damage, right? The nice thing is, I think anytime a boss I don't think a boss cannot be broken while they're by themselves, other than I think Sam. I think Sam has that, because Sam you can't break until they're in their until they go into like the fire form or whatever. But that's a huge, like, if there's bosses that heavily negate breaking, like, this team isn't going to do very well. The other situation it can be bad is if you have a big boss like Kafka, right? If it were the same situation, but there were not all of the little enemies to break, if it takes you a while to get that break bar down on the boss, I mean, you're struggling. But there we go, we broke her, and then all of a sudden, bam, 500k damage. And then we're going to jump in again, 400k damage. Like, just churning out the numbers. And, I mean, you know, I've never yet with my Firefly hit like a 1 million damage hit, but I have done like 700k. And considering that Firefly now is dishing out back-to-back attacks, I mean, if I'm doing double 4, 5, 600k shots, she's up there with Acheron, and my Acheron is E6, right? And I can only imagine if Firefly is E6, I think she is actually competing with Acheron because of all the buffs you're going to get from being E6. So yeah, she's a great character. I still think overall Acheron is the better character though, like the better damage dealer, because Acheron's going to be way more flexible on your team building. Because she's just a standard hyper carry, right? Like, you just support the crap out of her and let her go crazy. You have to have one Nihility on the team if you've got her, you know, dupes up, at least E1, I think. That's the one limiting part about her, is you have to have Nihility. If she's E0, then I might favor Firefly, because E0, you're forced into 2 Nihilities on the team, and then it just depends on, like, you're almost running a full Nihility team, and your team comp is a little bit, like, really sacrificed there. But I think as long as you're at least E1 Acheron, I think she is a little bit more flexible, because you can build a lot more teams. Whereas with Firefly, you really want to look at specifically the super break type of team. You could try to build a Firefly that has like crit rate, crit damage, but I don't really think that's the way to build her. Like, you want to build her around break effect. So you're pretty much locked into some team that's really helping with break effect stuff. But if you have the team, like, this team is crazy. So there we go. First phase done, and we actually got the full 40k. We actually killed Kafka on that DOT at the end. My first time being able to actually kill her. So I'm like, yeah, this is for sure going to be the run, because we don't even have to get near a perfect score here. We just need 20k, and it doesn't take you long to get the 20k. So now we're on the Acheron team. I'm feeling pretty good here. The Acheron team does have links on it here. So yeah, we're just gonna hop in and see what we can do. Kill this dino guy. The thing I love about Acheron, it's just very quick, heavy damage, fast. It's like, we just gotta cycle back to her ultimate, get the big time damage out, and then we're gonna be like good to go. So here we go, Sparkle into Acheron. I like doing Acheron's skill first to get an extra stack, because she does have 3 overflow stacks of her ultimate that you can get. And I like getting like that just free damage before I go into ultimate. And then there you go. Like, there's Acheron, casual 900k shot right there. Very, very, very free and easy. And then, yeah, she comes out of it at 3 stacks already. And I think Sparkle has quickly become one of my favorite characters. So good with Acheron. It's kind of crazy, like, Jing Lu was my main DPS, like, seemingly forever, like, since she came out, right? I went from Sela to Jing Lu, and I ran Jing Lu for quite a bit. Now I just feel like her damage is just nowhere near what these characters are doing. Now, I think an E6 Jing Lu is probably doing crazy damage. I think my Jing Lu is E1. So that's part of it. It's like, it's a little, like, your vision on characters' abilities can be skewed quite heavily based on the dupes, right? Because if you're only because one thing I have to remember, like, when I always compare my Acheron to characters, it's like, well, mine is E6, like, with her own light cone, like, she is ridiculously stacked, right? So to compare her to any other 5-star that isn't E6 is almost unfair. So I'm trying to think more relative to, like, how many dupes a character has, because that is such a big deal. So I think, players that if you heavily invested and you've got like an E6 Blade or an E6 Jing Lu, you probably are already doing really good damage. But for me, like, Acheron just blew everything out of the water, but it was the first character I invested that heavily in. But I did use Acheron quite a bit before going that deep, because I think for a while I was settled on an E1 or an E2 Acheron, and I used her quite a bit. And then it was like the last day or something of her banner, and I kind of took some last shots and got like super lucky to the point where I'm like, well, I think I might as well go for the E6 now because I got really lucky on some pulls. Pretty much pulled, I think, a couple back to back and was like, wow, that was fast. Now I'm E4. Like, I kind of want to just go all the way now. So that's kind of how that happened. But the thing is, if you heavily invest like that in the right character, I mean, this Acheron's going to be good for so long that I really am not going to be pressured to pull. There's just a casual 1 mil shot, by the way. So, like, yeah, she's just, like, tearing through these waves like butter. And, you know, previously all my, like, good Pure Fiction runs had some combination or setup that involved either Himiko or Herta or both. This run, just neither. I'm just going to take my 2 best teams in here and just blow it up. It's nice because in the right, like, situations, like when bosses have ice and fire weakness, like Himiko Herta just is so good. But now that I've got Firefly on the fire side, it's like, I don't know, maybe I just run Firefly, or maybe Himiko Herta and Firefly, and then I just throw like a, you know, maybe I could try a no healer setup and just throw like Ron May in there as well. That could be a pretty nasty setup if I can get by without, you know, the damage being an issue. Because that is really one of the hard parts about Pure Fiction is a lot of times you need to be able to heal, but you hate the healer taking up that spot because, like, you know, links are that normal attack. Like, you're fighting a timer, right? And, like, you've got these big waves and you need big AoE damage fast, and, like, wasting that turn really stinks. That's why Gallagher's so great. Gallagher's amazing. Just to have that healer that's so offensive is so nice. So I could only imagine having someone like, I feel like Luocha is a fairly offensive healer. He's probably like pretty nice in this situation. I haven't looked at Huahua too much since she came out, but I don't think she's very offensive, but she is a great healer. But the other trick you can do that I've done in Pure Fiction are, you know, time limited stuff, and I don't want the healer eating up that damage spot. I've tried running like March or Japard. Like, Preservation's a great way. So that's where, like, I think Aventurine really comes into play, because he's probably the most offensive Preservation unit, I would say. So he can help the team put out, especially like AoE damage with his follow-ups. So I think, you know, people that got Aventurine, you're really liking him in Pure Fiction, I'm guessing, because, you know, I could just slap Aventurine right where Lynx is, and I'm getting the same type of sustain. It's just not healing, but I'm getting sustain while getting follow-up damage. So yeah, Aventurine is probably insane in here. But he just wasn't worth summoning for me at the time. I just wasn't in the place for it. You know, coming out of Acheron, I think a lot of players weren't in the place for that with Aventurine. But here we are, we're on Mr. Svarog. We're already over 60k, and you can see we're about to hit turn 0 here. So we're fine. We're done. We got enough in that we needed. There's our 60k clear. So there you go. I think this might be the first time ever that I have had Forgotten Hall and Pure Fiction completely cleared out. Which is really, really awesome. So glad that I got these 2 teams set up. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.